Okay, guys, can you hear me? Is there anyone being able to see me? Just give me a quick chat or anything. I will do it a little bit different than the others. I will present in my moderator. So yeah, let me know if you're there. Give me a chat or anything. Let me know. Ah, guys, sorry. Okay, you're all here. Let's now I can see the chat. Sorry. Now let's go. Good. Okay, so today's topic will be owning the B2B market. It's a bold statement for half an hour. I know that's quite something. But my idea or my goal today is not to just get into the little stuff of on page and keywords or whatnot. My goal is way more to give you the overall strategy on how to overcome your competitors and how to really become an organic visibility leader long term. So I'll hop into the chat here and there to have a look at you guys. Great. And yeah, let's begin. A few words about me. I used to work at a big agency here in Cologne. Now I live in Berlin. And I do the self-consulting since more than 4 years now. I founded an agency called Pull, where I work with other freelancers together to yeah, do the work for bigger teams, bigger companies. And since last year, I also put quite a lot of effort into personal development and just to, you know, have fun, do the things that make life worth living. And yeah, one fun thing to know maybe is I traveled the world as a digital nomad, and I think it's about having fun. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll hop into the chat here and there. I know we will have 5 to 10 minutes at the end, but I would rather make this a little bit interactive. So let's begin. One thing we'll focus on today, and this is my consultancy in general, is we'll talk about content strategy, online reputation, which is major part of this whole growth strategy, and search experience. This is the personal website I mentioned. And one thing, although I mostly consult B2B companies, I just started a cohort that will begin next month, where I will teach people in how to create a website and get your first visitors within a little over a month. So whoever is like personally interested. But let's go. So the strategy I'll teach you guys here has made all of my clients market leaders of their category. So listen, a lot of things will be in tone. They won't be on the slides. So just, yeah, let's dive in. One of the 3 or more clients I have is a communication SaaS. And since the 4 years we work together, we've claimed market leadership and since then are the leaders. As you can see, getting more than double, at times even 3 times the traffic that the competitors get. And if you look at authority, which is a thing we will talk about more often in this session, we've become the one getting the most backlinks. And by the way, I've never done any active backlinking. I'm not an advocate of that, and I would rather focus on reputation. But the last slide before we continue, just to see that it all works, is, and SEMrush is an amazing tool for this. It actually gives an estimate of the traffic, how much you would have to pay in Google AdWords, in CPC, to get this amount. And I'm quite proud of the numbers, getting like 300K a month, 30K, 50K, and more. So I'll have a short look at the chat. We are good. So the first rule before we start into the whole strategy is the ground rule really is give users what they want, what they are looking for. find out what the real search intent is, and then resolve it, be the better solution than anyone else. Because we're not going to talk too much about the content, but more about the strategy. But this is the ground rule. This is the assumption before everything that comes now. One more thing. This morning, I guess many of you have heard the talk from Tim Cameron. He did a great job at showing how valuable design is as part of growth and SEO in general. And one thing I want to bring across here is SEO is not just keywords, content, snippets, depth, or anything. It really is all of it. Like, you really got to care about design as well as an SEO. You really got to care about content formatting, visual formatting, even PR, like PR is reaching out. This is also part of it. You got to know how to build a brand there and how to put that into your overall strategy. And one thing that's also very often missed is the product. The product has to fit. If you are not the one that can possibly be market leader, like product-wise, portfolio-wise, there is a little chance that you will be that through SEO as well. So product also is part of it. But to break it down, the 5 main elements we're going to talk about today is the topical authority, or the authority in general, which can be divided into 3 major parts, which I would call trust, product fit, and positioning. Trust, on-page trust, which will be the elements we all know, testimonials, use cases, references, etc. But also the product fit, like being the right product for the solution, for the problem of your users. And then your positioning in the market. Are you like the mass product, or are you the one that is more niche? Because you will have to follow a different strategy if you are the one that is just enterprise focused. Then we're talking about intent match, which I just explained. The 10x content you got to create, the design and UX that needs to be flawless, and the workflows you really got to establish in order to become market leader. But one thing and one metaphor I really like in general is I like to think of SEO and forests, that they are very similar. And if you look at it, a tree has very limited resources or very limited variables that go into him growing faster or trying to catch up with another one. If you think about it, it's mainly light, water, and space. Those are the 3 major ones. But if you think about SEO, we also have limited variables that determine the outcome. I would say it's authority, right? It's how much known you are in your category. It is links, which is an indicator of that. It's the content you create. And of course, it's the competition, the other ones that determine how much space is in the top 10 left for you. So as you can tell, a tree that already is like there, rather grown, it's hard to compete against it. So the ones that are already there have a huge advantage. And we're going to talk about that now. But if you're able to make use of the resources, you can catch up. One thing why I really want to put emphasis on this is if you pay for content, or if you use up the resources you have in order to create content that will later not rank in the top 10. This was a pure loss. You've basically thrown out money out the window. Yes, you can republish it, repurpose it on LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. But only the dollars spent on content that ranks and ranks well was an actual investment, one where you can run the numbers. So really, I want to focus on what kind of content to create at what stage with your authority level. I hope that's come across here. So let's begin. The first thing I start with is always competitor research. So instead of starting from scratch, I would say, and this is something I want to do with you guys together, is please type in the chat your brand and maybe your 5 competitors, but your brand first, and I'll take a look. We'll take a look at your brand all together. I have an example here, so really just type it in the chat now. I'll have a look in a few seconds. And this was just a company from Hamburg that approached me recently. They're called Cauliflower, and they're trying to become a text and sentiment analysis B2B SaaS. Well, this is what they're going at. And the competitors, as you can tell here, if I just zoom in, they're way stronger. They're like, authority score of cauliflower is just at 17. The competitors are 28, 36, 25. So there's quite some catching up. But this authority score, which is similar to PageRank, right? It's like who links, how much authority do the other links have showing to our domain. This is just one variable in determining the real authority, I would say. And this is really also how much traffic are they getting already, how many domains are showing there, how many keywords are ranking. There's more to it. And even the speed of growth is a variable I really want to look at, because otherwise, like, small ones have no way of competing with the big ones. So let's have a look together. TomTom, Omniva. Let's do this. Omniva, and maybe we do another one with TomTom. So Omniva first. Let's hop into SEMrush. Let's do this together. And let's see who the competitors, I assume it's omniva.com, my bad. This was a keyword search. I guess you're familiar with tools like this. Okay, Omniva is not in. Oh, that's an interesting top level domain, but still, let's have a look. Omniva.ee. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, this seems to be a shipping company, some sort of transportation involved. And let's have a look worldwide. So they make 220K in traffic. And let's have a look at the competitors. Tools like SEMrush give you a good overview. Omniva seems to be the biggest one already, but there is Pocta, Omniva Limit. There's more to them, and you just said a few more. Omniva.lv. Okay, let's have a look at that one. So in general, guys, you'll see I like to make this more of a workshop. We'll do this interactively so you get an idea of how to use the tools, what numbers to look at. I think this is just better for you than showing slides. Let's have a look at the competitors. So LV is Latvia, I guess. And there we have them. The other competitors here, the tool at least says is Shopee, LV. But in general, you know your competitors already. What you do next is you want to compare your domains. Let's do this together. The tool already suggests a few. Maybe we use this one, the ones we have here. Let's just have a look. And last one. And what we see is the same graphic I just showed you, Omniva being the most authoritative website already. So they're doing a great job. What I would like to see, and what is more interesting to the rest of you guys being part of this workshop course today, is you want to catch up to the other ones, but Omniva wants to remain market leader as well. So what do? Let's switch into the presentation again. We've determined who is the next one we should want to catch up with, or who's the next one that is number 2, where we want to steal eventually content from and steal ideas from. And I'll come to that strategy later. But for the ones that are just starting out, I would suggest the following. Quick rule first. If you are just starting out, or if you are one of the oligopoly, not the biggest already, what you really want to have is not just link authority, you also want to have topical authority. I want your whole website to be screaming, we are the experts at this. And you want to have content around all the questions of the category that you're in. And this is why I say topical authority is even more important than link authority. You want to get traffic for all kinds of your content part. So how do we do that? I say authority has different sort of influence depending on the kind of content you create. If you are creating bottom funnel content, let's say landing pages that target a really niche group of people, they're the ones that are the biggest already, the ones that are well known. They usually become the rankings, although the websites or the URLs may look a little so-so compared to the other ones, right? Because they have just this amazing authority for their topic. But if we go to medium funnel, this is where it's more about education. It's more about showing why you're valuable, showing you resources, maybe giving a good guide. This is where the content is more important, because at bottom funnel, like your sort of product is maybe can be substituted, but the content is unique that you create. And at the top funnel, this is where the authority has the least effect, I say. And this is where the content quality matters most. And this is the sort of understanding I want to give to you. And now we're going to dive deeper into why I still recommend starting with bottom funnel pages, although you might have a low authority level. This strategy I call the grizzly bear strategy, and it's rather simple. You begin targeting with low volume keywords that usually also have lower competition, because you are new or not competing enough with the bigger ones. And therefore you want to build up in authority first before you can, as a pup, you need to grow before you can into the deeper water and catch the bigger fish as the mother does. So the grizzly bear strategy basically says, start with bottom funnel content. And here I have the first tips. How do you find the content you should create, or I recommend creating? It's rather simple. You have those versus or pages, you have alternative pages, and you have competitor pages. Let's do this whole thing together. We've just seen this page, Omniva LV, and I think I should have to go to Google Latvia and say Omniva, and now maybe versus, and there we go. Already we have DPD, SmartPost, Itella. Those are pages I want to rank for, because they are almost at the conversion stage. They know what they need. They just want to make the decision. So let's type that one in. And the first thing I see, none of them, although here Omniva is ranking, none of them really is at number one, and none of them is targeting this whole versus scope, right? So you do the same thing with your category. Go to Google Suggest and have a look at the versus, alternative, or competitors, etc. Those are the ones where you can win money right away, because they're often not targeted by the competition. So let's have a look at a few of those. Who did a great job at that stuff is, for example, DocuSign or PandaDoc. They're targeting DocuSign, which is the market leader, and they've created a page specifically for alternative to DocuSign. And then you go into the market and see and look for, what do users want? They need help to come to a conclusion, to come to a decision. So this is the kind of content you want to create. Position yourself, tell your price, say what makes you better, give trust, give expertise, all the things. We're not going to go into too much detail here, but as you can see, another one maybe will be Zendesk, which does the same thing in competition to Freshdesk. All those bottom funnel pages are helping you create buzz around your brand for the conversion closest keywords. So start with that one. I think that comes across. So right from the beginning, focus on conversions, brand, and positioning. Yes, it's low volume, but yes, it gets you in front of the right eyes. Good, let's continue. So we continue with bottom funnel content. This time we try to go for the content that is most fitting with your product and your solution. So my suggestion is you go for your category or target group and then just switch them around. Help desk for small business, CRM for startups. And I just opened up a page. I think this one is also from PandaDoc. What you see here, and it's amazing, is you see how they target different roles of people, how they target different industries, how they target different use cases, what you can do with it. All those are people that may search for document sign or document software for sales team, for building contracts. All the content here is bottom funnel content, really close to the conversion, oftentimes not addressed by the competitors. So start with those first and make sure those become part of your, let's say, basic website before we go into the deeper stages. But I think that also comes across. It's also still about conversions, and the effort isn't that high for neither of those, because you just create one landing page template and then switch them up. You switch them around with different target groups, or even with that one, it's different competitors. But it's like, it can be overseen. It's not too much. So here I have a small list of what I consider the basics of bottom funnel pages. Let's not go into too much depth here. I would just say, let's look at someone who does that really well. Zendesk does a great job, often a good example. Let's just do the basics. Call to action here. Yes, what's missing definitely is trust elements. I would consider bottom funnel pages as landing pages that really want to convert. So trust should be something to consider above the fold. Then you tell the users what it's about. This also can be done better. I would say font size is a little small, a little too texty, but it was scalable. Maybe that's why they did it. Then they say how it solves the problem, why you need that problem. You target the different target groups that want to be approached. They say, oh yeah, I'm a retailer. I am at the right page for my category. And then you want to build trust. You want to say who uses it, why they use it, and maybe different reports, use cases, testimonials, references, all that stuff. And we see the same thing if we go to PandaDoc. It's basically saying, what's the value proposition at the top? You get a call to action. Again, I'm missing a little bit of trust here. Maybe that's better on another side. CRM, sorry, I'm switching a little bit. But you get the drill. I think you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, call to action, trust. There's a basic structure of this. You just copy them from the best and do this with your basic bottom funnel pages. And there we have it. This is the beginning. This is where I want to start with. You have your website with your bottom funnel pages ready now. And the next thing you want to do is be visible everywhere. Everywhere your competitors are, you want to be as well. And the most common sources and the most common websites where this is the case are comparison, like review websites. It's G2, it's Capterra, whatever is the industry of comparison or the comparison website in your country. You want to take a look at it and you want to make sure that you are not just on it, but that you are kind of winning in there. Let's see an example here. Let's say CR marketing automation software. So I just typed in marketing automation software. We see G2 ranking at the top, even in Latvia, right? I'm searching in English, so we'll see. And what we see is HubSpot being at the top, then ActiveCampaign, yes. But what we see next is those have 7,000 reviews. But then already Klaviyo is having just 500. Maybe we scroll a little bit deeper. Here we have Thrive with just 130 reviews. All of a sudden, they get similar attention, not the same, but the similar attention as the biggest in your country. So if I do the same thing, I'll just do it with google.com, marketing automation software. Let's have a look. Again, G2. And I was amazed that if it's not G2, maybe it's Capterra at some point. Let's have a look here, sorry. And I was amazed that there was cross-engage, having just 10 reviews, even average reviews, being mentioned so far at the top. So Lango, why do they not have any reviews? There you go. So let's not go into that one too far, but I want to make sure that you understand that once you have addressed all the bottom funnel pages, you want to make sure you are part of the conversation. This is really, really important. And just in case, also make sure your My Business is done well, because your brand is always only one click away, like one search, and people will, again, we use the same company Omniva. Let's use it as an example, and let's see how in Google Latvia, what the reputation of Omniva actually is. Let's search for it. And what I would see is here, this is not a good sign. Like, there's someone saying 2.7 out of 10. This is awful. I could imagine if we go into other countries, or if we type in Zendesk or whatnot, you would have review pages at the front page, at the major page as well. So you really make sure that your brand is shining in the brightest light. All right, let's continue. So be visible everywhere is the rule I want to communicate. And one thing that's just as important, if you are not able to rank for now for terms like automation, or let's say marketing automation software, right? Then you might want to make sure that if there is some sort of comparison site, not just comparison as a review, but also comparison as a list, Neil Patel, Leadfeeder, HubSpot, etc., they are listing the major marketing automation softwares. You have to be part of it. Like, there's no other way around. If you're starting up, make sure you reach out to HubSpot, you reach out to Leadfeeder, you reach out to Neil Patel, tell them what's different, why yours is better, and that you should be part of the conversation. Sorry, I'm having a few differences here. I hope you're well. Let's continue. Let's just have a look. Okay, 65 people are still in there, so let's continue. So what we do next, once we've addressed reputation, once we've addressed bottom funnel pages, is now we start creating topical authority. We want to address the biggest ones, the biggest category keywords, because at the same time, we are addressing the medium funnel ones, and I'll continue with that very soon. Basically, what you want to do is you want to be the Wikipedia, but better looking, of your category, right? And this you can also see very well with Zendesk creating pages like this one that says customer service focused, or you see HubSpot creating something about what is marketing automation, or you see PandaDoc saying something about like safe signing or e-signature. What is e-signature? All this. So those, let's say, pillar pages will definitely also be automatically the pages that link deeper into the other questions someone might have. I hope pillar page is not a new term for you, but what you will want to focus on is the people also ask questions. They give you a great idea. You really want to take a look at Google Suggest, because also another Berlin girl from today, Viola Eva, did a great job at explaining how to create the content. But you really want to go from Google Suggest, because it's the only real data you have. Marketing automation, and the next common word will be exactly in this hierarchy. And if you type it in and you go lower, you will see that those suggested terms, those are the ones that will later on determine your pillar pages or your content cluster. But I don't want to go too deep into that. I just want to tell you, right from the beginning, you want to start creating top funnel content as well, right? And with that, you get the scope of everything. So this one is focusing on depth. And the great thing is, if you are able to create the content in a better manner than your competitors, you might get away with lower authority because it's so much better educating. So one idea or one strategy I apply to not give up too many resources for something that later does not rank is only create content for the topics your competitors already rank for. And this may just be the most important suggestion here. So if you take a look at, let's say, the site that just approached me, Cauliflower, that was the, what's wrong? Anyway, so you want to address someone that is close to your authority, either lower or higher, and you want to target only the keywords they already have. So for example, if we want to compete against Zendesk, right? We want to have a look at what terms Zendesk is already ranking for. And if a close competitor is able to rank for it, we have the possibility of ranking for it as well. We just need to create the same or slightly better content or slightly better search experience. So really here, go into the depth of using tools like SEMrush or Ahrefs or Systrix or whatnot, and export and see all the relevant keywords your competitors are already ranking for and how much traffic they may generate through those. This is the strategy I apply in order to stay on top of all the other ones, because whenever they find sort of like a branch or like a source of traffic, I grab it. It's mine now. I am the quickest that creates better content than my competitors. Better looking, better designed, and better feeling overall. So the rule is simple. If a close competitor is able to rank for a keyword, close by meaning similar in topical authority or similar in domain authority, you can do it as well. Copy what's working and do it even better. Now that we've talked about all this, about bottom funnel, top funnel, this is where just naturally you go into the medium funnel content. And here you have terms like your category in software, which may be informational, which may be commercial. And I'll give you an example here as well. If we type in marketing automation software, and this is a great example, we have HubSpot at the top. Sorry, let's use google.com. And what we will see is that HubSpot ranks with 2 different articles. And this is something I do with my clients also quite often. How is this possible? Simple, because 2 articles are attaching or trying to answer different questions. Well, one of them is a top funnel article that just answers the question of marketing automation, giving a good overview, niching it down into like the most important questions and then going deeper into it. The other one is an overview of the market. This is really a comparison where they say, no, listen, we are HubSpot. We don't want to have Capterra or G2 or whatever have the best page on software in our category. We ourselves want to own that term, want to own the traffic, and want to say why we are the best at it. So now we're talking about this medium funnel where people already look for the best software in that category, and they want to be educated. Different types of content you want to apply here are landing pages possibly, but long form landing pages like those in those offering Zendesk here. Sorry, it was this one, customer service, where they're really going into the depth of customer service and then applying everything so you can later have an educated decision. But you also want to have maybe buyer's guide, how to make a smart decision, which I just said, answer specific questions, all this. You want to do this always. It's about educating, but conversion somehow, maybe lead generation depending on your industry. And this will be highly competitive. So you need the authority from the beginning as well. Good. So what did Viola really well is she explained, maybe you have a look at her presentation as well, how to think and act in content clusters. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but really have a look at the tools you have. Related search, Google Suggest, and your Search Console are amazing tools. Find out more about the clusters you can possibly create. And then it's about creating those different funnels and linking from the top to the bottom, really getting the lead on all stages to really get them down to the conversion. Maybe it will be like a lead magnet that you use first with email segmenting. But why do you need that for SEO growth, for dominating growth? Because one of the major indicators of or Google indicators that Google loves as user signals is task completion. If someone is able to type in a search query and end his search on your website, like not depending on whatever stage he is in, like this is the best signal Google can see from a user. If he stops searching for marketing automation software after having visited your website, and then he will be in the lead funnel or whatever, this is an amazing signal to create. And the next thing is simply you, and this is something I addressed at the beginning, you have to have a website that is better, like the search experience got to be better than your competitors. This is the given. Like everything else was just the strategy behind it. The content you create, the visual formatting I'm talking about, like having colors, having this whole thing in your CI or corporate design, using different nice elements like this testimonial here or a quote, the great way of structuring your content with a table of contents, using additional FAQ or something, having pictures that indicate that I'm on the right page. All those things apply, and I'm not going into too much depth. This is content experience, it's its own category, but this is something you have to have. And by the way, if you like the presentation, if you want to have the slides later on, I'll give you a link and you can reach out to me and you'll get them. So before we go into Q&A, you have to have a great workflow, an efficient workflow that is effective, and you should never stop. Like, it's never done. You want to grab everything your competitors have, and you don't want to stop creating content. At the beginning, when you're rather new, you maybe want to create topical authority through quantity, but later on, you really want to have the ones that are 1 to 3 position, because this is where most traffic lies, and this is what you want to reach. If you are, by the way, and if my clients are just on page number 1, but not within the top 3, we re-optimize. Yes, we give it a small break of 2 weeks or whatever, but we do it all the time, because position number 1 to position number 2 may be more than a 50% traffic loss. And yeah, create the content among all those 3 funnels, and you'll have brand awareness and co. So be efficient, do the things with the highest probability of ranking first, why I wanted you to go for bottom funnel and niche stuff, the grizzly bear strategy. Start at the bottom, but create content along the complete funnel. It will help your overall user journey. Be outstanding and trustworthy everywhere. So if I use this metaphor of the tree again, you ought to become the biggest tree of your category, so the others have no light, no water, right? No space to outgrow you. And this is how you become market leader after all. So we have 5 to 10 minutes of questions. I hope it's been fun. And if you want to stay in touch with me, you can see my website, bernard.digitalmarketingcon. Just type your email in there. I'll send you the slides. And if you are interested in something related to building a website from scratch, I'm happy to just visit from zero to traffic. And now we're going to have, a short Q&A. I'm going to stop presenting. You're going to see me here a little bit better. And the link will be behind. I'm going to answer it real quick. Bernard Digital. I think it was that one. There we go. So if you have any questions, type them in the chat. I'm happy to help. Let me know about your industry, your case. I'm here. So who wants to help? Q&A. Video quality poor, share the presentation. Yes, I'll do that if you send me, type in, or you can just add me on LinkedIn as well, and there we'll have it. Briefly touch various related subjects. So at the beginning, you want to think in topic clusters. So maybe you start with your niche topic, which has the highest match of intent and your product with your product portfolio. And then you may be going into other related subjects, but always begin what's closest to you and your product. So Edward just says questions will be ready in 2 minutes. So we have a few more minutes actually. If we want to do something else, if someone wants me to take a look at your website and your competition, and maybe even be able to draw a short strategy from it, just type it in the chat and I might have a look. So what's the most common error you see people make time and time again? So one is investing too early into keywords that are too big, that they cannot approach. A good tool that you can use is the Moss bar. I can turn it on or you can just search for it. It gives you, just as SEMrush did, an authority for the domains of your competitors. So you really want to look out if one of your direct competitors already ranks in those keywords within the search phrases. If not, I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't try to win this keyword from scratch. Rather, I just be better than my competitors and therefore outrank them. And if I have some budget, some resources left, that's when I'm going to get creative and invest into like really new topic clusters none of my competitors are competing in yet. Great. Yes, good warning. SEMrush and Co. never have 100% full scope. If you do your marketing properly, you already know your 5 to 10 competitors. So don't focus on SEMrush too much. Oh, thank you. I'll update that one. You'll just find my name with LinkedIn. And I'll change the Twitch one. Thank you, Anita. Appreciate it. So a good question from Denitsa. How often do you do an audit of your competitors' ranking in keywords? I do it weekly. I have a look at, first I have a look at the overall search index of my competitors, like how visible are they? And if I see something spike, which happens unfortunately only rarely, I'll have a look which keywords were responsible for the spike of my competitor. And then I'll have a look if they are just catching up with some of my keywords, or if they actually have been able to find a new traffic well that I have not targeted yet. And then I'll evaluate that kind of content if it's valuable to us. But usually I must say I don't let any of our competitors have anything. Like whenever there's something that brings them traffic that seems to be relevant, I'll grab it. This will be mine and I'll outgrow them because I am the biggest tree. So why should I have them, let them have any of my water or my light? This is sort of the strategy I apply. Niche markets, when even Google and SEMrush can't help you with keywords. So yes, that's a good question. Niche markets are more difficult. I would say your Google Suggest and Google Search Console are your biggest friends because they give you the keywords that are relevant in your category. If you already have certain traffic on your website, let's say 1,000 visitors, which isn't a lot, but maybe in B2B it is, depends on your category, of course. Search Console is the only tool that lets you know what other keywords you seem to be relevant on page number 2, 3, 4. And from the Search Console, you can determine if they actually mean business to you, right? Those are the keywords that no tool may be able to find. So Search Console here and Google Suggest are your biggest friends. Mohammed Dreza was asking. Great. A few more minutes. And I'm available. I'll have a quick look at public here. Great, guys. So seems like you don't have any questions anymore. I'm happy to connect. Let's connect on LinkedIn. And for the rest, this will be it. Good luck with your B2B strategy, and I'll hope you'll make it to become leader as well. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Artis.